It's November 17th, and this is episode 247 of The Casual Hour, a podcast ostensibly about video games, but mostly about putting ketchup back in the refrigerator after you open it. I'm your host, Bobby Pease. Joining me, as always, the entire Casual Crew's here, but joining me, as always, Chase Kinnicky. Chase, hello, how are you?
You should always just have the ketchup, like, even unopened. Just put it in the fridge.
Good answer. Great answer.
What if there's no room?
Also, don't buy ketchup. Ketchup sucks.
Ketchup?
Okay. Slow down.
Let's not say things we can't take back here.
Ketchup has its place.
I wish I could take ketchup back.
Hash browns and tater tots.
Johnny,
I was a ketchup kid growing up, and now I'm a mustard man.
Gross.
Look,
fucking gross.
I love a good mustard. Mustard is delicious.
Fuck you.
But ketchup has its place.
And fuck your condiments.
Oh, get out of here.
That's Johnny Amazich, and if you say it again, I'll add 10,000.
Joining us
this week, Patric Brown, the Aeon. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm great. I'm a little upset about this ketchup conversation. Does A1 sauce, is that
A1's
also?
great.
A1's
okay,
fine,
all right.
But do you keep it in the
Are we all in
refrigerator after you
agreement?
open it?
No.
Isn't A1 supposed to be refrigerated?
Is it?
I
have a label
I
I can read.
It's always sitting out
I
at
don't know if it
restaurants.
has to be.
Exactly.
I don't think it has to be.
So is
but,
ketchup.
You know,
Right.
Yeah.
I like my thinking is I like a nice hot fry with some nice cold A1. You know, you get a little balance of flavor there, a little balance of temperatures, and I think it helps things.
That is insanity.
A1 and French fries?
Who is this guy?
A1 on pretty much everything. A1's great.
That I do agree with. Not a cold A1 though.
Yeah.
It did really fuck me up though. When somebody was like, "Hey, you know it's made of prunes?" It's like, "What? What are you talking about? This savory delight?" And then you look on the back, and motherfucker, A1's made of prunes.
It's made of prunes.
And now when I taste it, there's like, yeah, I taste the prunes, and it's almost like I don't hate it. It's just kind of
That's Chase's
where I come
secret
from.
to staying regular
It's
as
just
he
chatter.
drinks
My
a bottle of
hometown.
A1 a day.
My hometown has this thing against A1 sauce because they have a sauce
What?
there called Country Bob's.
Oh, Country Bob's. Yes.
And
Okay, story time. When I worked at a certain place that provides tech support in their store, I helped the CEO of Country Bob's.
Yeah.
And he gave me his business card.
Yeah.
And also a book that was like full of coupons for free bottles of A1 or Country Bob's sauce. Never used it. Also, the Amazon house growing up, we were a Country Bob's house.
as you should be.
We had both.
Is
We had
A1 adjacent,
and Country Bob's.
or is this okay?
It's
It's going for the same thing though, right?
going for the same thing, but more. Look, the first time your boy got drunk was with the heirs of Country Bob out in the woods, and I got to tell you, I was drinking a lot more than Country Bob's that night. Sunny D and Smirnoff vodka, and it was a shit day the next day.
But we can all agree that Heinz 57 can get fucked,
Fuck
right?
you, Heinz 57.
Heinz
Yeah,
57.
right.
What is this?
I haven't had that since I was
It's like Heinz version of a steak sauce thing, and it's terrible.
The last
bro,
question
I
I
never heard
have
of this.
about tabletop condiments before we move on, because we got to move on, is there anything more
For now.
depressing looking than the bottle of peppers that were once green at a steak and shake?
Yeah,
Those things look like salad fingers. Those fucking things.
yeah, I don't touch those.
All right. Hey, welcome.
I've never eaten inside of a steak and shake, so I couldn't even.
Well, you can't do it in St. Louis anymore
Steak-
because they went belly
Bro.
up.
The
Did
one
they?
in Limburg is still open.
There's like
There's got to be at least
there's
one.
like one in St. Louis.
There's one on Page that was open for a while.
I like a steak and shake.
Yeah, I do too. I have nothing. Yeah.
I used to go there all the time. I was like,
Frisco melt and some cottage cheese.
Are you
What?
Weird
50
combo,
years
but
old?
that was me.
Jesus
I don't know,
fucking
it's a weird
Christ.
combo, but it's mine. Yeah.
Patric, I'm sorry. We
Get
have
that-
you back into the house.
I mean,
we thought we
look,
picked up. We just
You get
slipped it
that
under the
slice of
rug.
pineapple on the top.
I like cottage cheese with peaches.
Oh my god.
Peaches and light syrup.
Pierce, I order. Pierce, fuck off. Like, go play with your kid or something. Like, I've got cottage cheese to eat.
Hey, by the way,
damn, man.
A very heartfelt congratulations to friend of the show, Pierce, to you and your family, and your hot take on cheese with cottage cheese. Bless up for all those things. We appreciate you. Hey, tonight we got a pretty big ass show to get through. We've all got some games to talk about. There's been a lot of things happening in video games and a lot of things happening in the news around them this week. We'll probably have some pretty opinionated takes on that later on, so stick around for it. Some really big things in some of the games that we've had late in the year. So we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about these video games, plug some cool shit. We may or may not have some insight to new music dropping tomorrow from somebody on the show. So
is it Adele?
Adele.
Better than Adele.
Damn.
Chase, what the hell you been doing in these dungeons?
Bobby. Okay, we did a quick look of dungeon encounters. You did a quick look. I mean, I was watched. I had not played this game until I watched you do the quick look. So dungeon encounters, it's a Square Enix video game or half a video game. I don't know. It looks like a tech demo. That's kind of the point to it. It looks like a half finished game on purpose. It is an RPG, a JRPG, where you're walking around these tiles and you're basically just going through one extremely long dungeon. There are multiple floors. I believe there are 99, maybe there's even 100. And you go through all these different tiles, and when you on these tiles there will be spaces that have black or white numbers on them. And when you interact with those tiles, black tiles are an enemy fight, white tiles are something else, something that will help you in one way or another. Could be treasure, it could be some information, it could be a healing spot or a resurrection spot or something like that. So you're going through, or the stairs to go up or down. The problem is, because these are all numbers, there's very little art to this game. The characters themselves have portraits. The enemies have portraits. Yeah, it really does look extremely stripped down. You have one character who is walking across these tiles, but
it just looks like a tabletop game.
Yeah, it really does. It looks like somebody has laid out the map for a D&D game.
Yeah.
And then somehow it just got translated into a video game without anything else. Except they only had one figure. They only had the one model to put down. So everything else is just like a little coin that has some numbers on it. Because like, fuck it, we didn't have any more painted models, so we just had to go with what we got.
Really quick on the numbering system for that, Chase. So when you were talking about like how they're doing it, the same numbers represent the same shit no matter what level you're on. So,
right, you start to learn that okay, a 1 is a descending staircase, a 2 is an ascending staircase, 3 is the resurrection shrine or whatever, or that's 3 is an ability thing, whatever, doesn't matter. So yes, you can start to recognize those things. You know how else you could recognize them? If they had just drawn a little stair symbol. That would have been nice. But they didn't do that. And that's kind of the point of the game, is it really does, as Jedi's saying in the chat, it looks like a proof of concept. And that's really, I think, what its appeal is that it is a proof of concept looking thing. It's that novelty, it's that gimmick of, hey, is this game actually finished or not?
Right.
Because what it ends up happening is there's no real story to it. The characters have a tiny bit of text on their profile pages, but outside of that, you don't know why you're in this dungeon. You don't really know who you're supposed to be fighting in here. All you know is that it really is weird. You know that there's people who go to this dungeon never return. But
what is with Square and putting out these weird fucking games like this and The Quiet Man? and then they just take a big fat shit all over their Western studios.
Well, here's the thing, like,
And they put this. Not saying that Dungeon Encounters is bad, but
I mean, you get
what I'm trying to say?
You can't put those two games in the same fucking sentence, man. Like, that's like one of those is insane. That's absolutely insane. And this one might be half baked to some people. I personally, like, I don't need all the fucking weird shit that happens in between battles and before you get to a town in a JRPG. I think it could be a bit fucking exhausting. And I know that I'm the guy on the show that jokingly tries to discuss anime. I know I'm the guy that doesn't play
target audience,
but
Dungeon Encounters.
But what I'm saying is that like if you are into like watching numbers go up and down, and if you like the concept of building a squad, upgrading that squad to be powerful and execute, because when you get into a turn-based game, like they're all the fucking same for the most part. I mean, they follow a similar formula. This game's just stripping away a lot of the stuff between it. And so if you're looking at it from more of like, I know that this number means that's a church essentially to heal or save. This is going to be going down. I can use these coordinates to get to it. So I think that like from a proof of concept, yeah, it's absolutely that. But I also wonder, like, the development cycles get fucked during something like this. Was this something that they could easily put together during COVID when they were shut down? Like, I think the hardest part of it is a $30. It
wasn't me knocking it. It's just a weird thing for a huge publisher like Square to put out. You know, like it's.
I get what you're saying. I mean, the difference is, and I think maybe to shorten it a little bit from all the stuff that Bobby was saying, is that everything in Dungeon Encounters feels very deliberate and very thought through. And it makes me think that even the decision not to add more production values, more visual flair, more shit like that, also a very considered decision. Whereas I think in The Quiet Man, I don't think they considered anything. They certainly didn't consider the player at all and how they would react to anything that's going on in that game. So for here, so to kind of try to bake it down to its bare essentials here, it is Final Fantasy style active time battle combat system. You get a party of 4. You can find other people in the dungeon that you can swap in, but everybody is basically a blank slate. You can throw mostly whatever weapons you want on people. You have a number of slots for each character. You have 2 weapon slots. You have a hat, a chest piece, and an accessory that you can put on. And you can mix and match some of those characters that you find within the dungeon. There will be some characters that are in the dungeon that you can find and recruit. They can have slightly different things about them. Like there's a cat that you can find in there, like a big My Neighbor Totoro looking cat, and cool. that cat is able to use a weapon type called cutlery, and it can actually consume enemies. Whereas a normal human character can't do that.
Yeah.
But most people can use swords or bows or things like that. Weapons fall into a couple different categories. You have ranged weapons and melee weapons, and you also have weapons, and there's magic as well. And then you have weapons that can attack single targets or multi-targets, and you get that for both magic and melee. So it also has a very weird system of, here are weapons that do a fixed amount of damage, and then here are weapons that do a random number between 1 and 250. It can be whatever. So maybe you'll get a really bad roll and only do 10 damage to something, but then maybe you'll get a really great roll and get that 240 and wipe the character out with no problem. It's really that risk.
Should I play this?
And you run the risk on everything.
What'd you say, Johnny?
Should I play this?
Here's what I'll say. You go first.
That's
Jay.
such a hard question.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of like that's the question we try to answer with our quick look.
Yeah, I looked at it today and I saw, the quick look went up, and it seems interesting, and it's just such a novel concept.
I would say if you're going to check it out, maybe wait.
Yeah, because here's the problem. The problem is that the novelty of the game is that it feels unfinished. That's part of the reason you would want to play a game like this. Like, oh, it doesn't really have any art assets. Isn't that neat? Isn't that interesting that somebody's made a game like this? And yet, Square Enix is priced this game at $30, which is a lot for what it feels like this game is. Like you could certainly go out on the Switch eShop right now and buy much more fully featured JRPGs that have all the art, that have all the story, that still have a pretty good combat system, and those games cost you $15, maybe $20. So for Square to say, like, here's basically half a game, give us $30.
I mean,
seems steep.
That's the Square MO, though, right? Like,
it is
when they put their old Final Fantasy games out on iOS. They were like the first people to say, like, no, this is $18.
You're right, but that's also Final fucking Fantasy.
Yeah, those are like storied games.
Sure,
historic franchise. Like, I understand.
They might be old games, but they're full games. Whereas I don't know. I still don't know if this is a full game. So asking $30 for it, I feel, is really steep. And yet, every time I've loaded this game up to play it, I blink and at least 4 hours have gone by. Or the first time I played it, I blinked and 8 hours went by. And I went, what the fuck happened?
I fired up my Switch at like 1:30 on Monday. And I was like, what the fuck is Chase doing online? And what the hell is Dungeon Encounters?
Yeah.
And I almost texted you.
It was, I started playing this game after lunch on Sunday around like 1 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And then I looked back up at a clock later and it said it was 1:30 a.m. And I went, oh, man, what just happened?
You know,
where did my life go? Why didn't I eat?
Am I sleepy? What happens to me when I play Civ?
I think it's like this whole thing of like low art, right?
Not Age of Empires, Crusader Kings.
Because I've watched some like there's a big trend happening of like off-screen streaming right now, especially like on the platform TikTok, which is really fascinating to see like what's happening with that. And I think back to the early 2000s, or I guess like kind of the late 2000s at this point, there was that movie Be Kind, Rewind with Jack Black. It was a Michel Gondry movie. And like that whole thing was about them using what they had to make the movies that they loved. And for me, when I look at a game like this is easily something that like people who probably didn't have what they needed or didn't have access to some of this higher quality material, like they could have easily scrapped together some pieces of paper, drew out one of these grids and made something to mimic a JRPG. And I think, Be Kind, Rewind is fucking awesome. And the whole idea of like using your imagination to fill in the gaps here, like this is a $30 game. This is opening up a conversation that we've absolutely had, and I think we'll have continually on the show about what constitute a value versus a benefit of it, you know, and like
what? Yeah. So another interesting thing I saw. This was made by the guy who directed Final Fantasy 6, 9, and 12.
Right.
So.
No slouch. And it has interesting
no fucking
systems
intern. You know. This isn't baby's first video game.
No.
Right. It does some cool things. It has a lot of stuff that's pretty inscrutable, but purposefully. And there is a good community out there. Like I have a Google Sheet open right now where people have been just going, okay, because there's a coordinate system in here too. So you get to the points of like, okay, where's the teleporter to get you back to level 1? Like when you're going down through this dungeon, and then it says, okay, so let me see, exits here. The two-way teleporter number 1 is on floor 09, 5583, which those are Y and X coordinates.
Okay.
And then the two-way teleporter for the second two-way teleporter is 191342, and your brain just starts to internalize these numbers like it's not complete insanity. Mm-hmm. Where I'm like taking notes on my phone now of the Gorgon shrine is at 7:42:39. Okay, I got to remember that. Oh, I just found the dog dog character that I can put in my party. He's at 27:36:85. I got to remember that number. I got to write that down.
But some things and really
you just feel like you're going insane.
It's like I'm really digging this game, and Johnny, like my short answer is like, yeah, check it out. Like it's fucking novel, and it doesn't feel like a carbon copy of something.
Is this game of the year material?
Could be. It's fucking weird to say right now. I mean, like I got to really do some hard analysis there. For me personally, I mean, Chase has eclipsed me quite a bit on it, but I think that it's a weird fucking thing that kind of came out of nowhere. That's doing some interesting things for a genre that's been around for decades. So I think that's really fucking cool.
I'm in a really weird spot with it, where I'm on like floor 30 of 100 or whatever, and the game has actually changed up quite a bit. You've gone from those kind of basic weapons that I was talking about to the point of, okay, now I have a bunch of weapons that work on percentages that do unique things. Like I have a weapon that will hit 35% of the time, but it attacks everybody at once. And it has the chance to reset their ATB bars. So possibly I can just totally lock down a whole team, but there's only a 35% chance of it working on each individual enemy. And you're starting to think, okay, how can I set up my team to be ready for stuff? And the enemies switch up quite a bit. You have creatures that have flying, so you can't use swords on them. That'll just miss. So you have to use magic, or you have to use bows if you want to do physical damage to them. And hey, here's a shark enemy. The shark enemy has no magic defense, but it has a ton of physical defense because it's a fucking shark. And then it has a big HP bar as well. So do I want to, if I've spec'd a bunch of my characters into melee stuff, do I want to chip down on its physical defense to get to the point where I can start doing actual damage to it? Or do I just want to find as much magic as I can, or try to put enough magic on my team to deal with an enemy like that? And then they keep finding combinations to throw at you.
I know that we got to move on from it, but the one thing I'll say here, and this is really for you and Patrick, is if you can check out the quick look, it's really worth it because there's an awesome thing that happens where I die, and you all want to see that, but I get wiped out, and this is kind of a run-based game. So you start off with a party. I think you get like 6 or 8 people when you start this thing off, and you can choose what 4 you have. But as people get knocked out, they're left at those coordinates. And so your first level is this area that you start out with, like all your towns, and you can buy spells, armor, and gear, which is really fucking cool. But like over on the right, it tells you like, hey, here's every playable character in the game. Some are wandering, some are petrified. Here's your party that's fucking dead. You got to get back down to ZXY coordinates. You go there, and there's not anything marked on this tile. You just go to it, you open up that dialogue box, and then you can bring your party back in, go and heal them. It's like a scavenger hunt almost. But
yeah,
it's on my wish list.
The music for this game is really fucking slick, especially in the battle. It just goes into a fucking like crazy ass like 80s guitar riff. And I read somebody's tweet on and they were saying like, yeah, they just straight up started playing Flight of the Bumblebee as a guitar solo during this encounter, and it was awesome. And the art that they're doing, I think especially Patrick, knowing some of the stuff that you and I have been talking about for your art and some of the stuff about your music, like this is D&D adjacent for sure. Like it's high fantasy. It's got a style to it that meets like fantasy meets comics. It's got some of the best,
and like there's very little art in it, but the art that is in there is pretty damn good.
Yep.
Like all the talking, all the heads of the characters look awesome. I know we need to move on. I got a couple last things because one thing you get are these different movement abilities that you'll find as you go through the dungeon, and they start pretty easy. This will reveal all the enemies on the map, so you know that when you're walking around the map, you can see an enemy and not just get an ambush attack. That's helpful. and that's something you can put on your character, and you've got ability points that allows you to put on more of these kinds of abilities as you go through. Then the game starts to give you ones that kind of cheat in pretty interesting ways, where you can have there's a skill that's called lesser dissension, which just because everything's on a fucking plotted out coordinate map. If you get to a point where there's a space on the next floor down that is also on that same coordinate. So if you're on 27, 43, 33, and you hit the dissension thing, if there's a space that's 28, 43, 33, you'll just skip down to that whole next floor. And you can cheese that to go down more floors. There's another one that lets you go up, and then you get to the point where you find one that's called shift, and that will let you jump over a space. So you get to some maps that have spaces where you just can't walk through, but there's a space, and instead of having to walk all the way around, or there's a bunch of enemies around there that you'd have to fight to get around to this spot, you can just jump over that space. And you have a limited amount of uses for those things before you have to find a shrine that kind of refills those. But the way you can start kind of cheating back at the game as it gets harder, and it ramps up pretty hard. Like I said, I'm on level 30, and I'm getting to the point of like, fuck, these fights are hard. I need to find some ways around it. And one of those ways is using your movement abilities to kind of skip parts that are too difficult, or to change things to put stuff more in your favor. And the last thing I'll say is I really don't know if I like this game or not. Like, all I've been saying I feel like are pretty good things. I am pretty positive on it, but I feel like this is my year's Death Stranding, where I really like this game, and I also might hate this game. And every time I'm not playing it, I don't think I ever want to play it again. But when I do pick it up and play it, like I said, 4 hours just disappear.
Yep.
Because maybe I kind of love it. I don't know. I feel broken when I play this game.
I'll pick it back up more intentionally when I get my Steam Deck. But for the time being, I would say maybe check out on Switch.
Yeah, this looks intriguing, especially for me as a Japanese RPG nerd, but Game Pass only.
Yep.
Not $30.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's no way.
It's really interesting, and I think there is a deeper discussion to have it that might show up around Game of the Year time, when we have to really start crystallizing our feelings on these games. Mm-hmm. But for now, I think it's a really fascinating game that's come out this year. I also played the new Animal Crossing update. I won't say too much on that. We've kind of talked about it a little bit. We've done we did a Friday night show, a casual Friday stream, where we went around and saw some stuff. I think Bobby and I are going to do a quick look on the DLC, the Happy Home Paradise stuff.
Yeah.
I'll just say that I'm actually really liking it. I'm surprised at how much I'm liking it. I thought I was just going to jump in for a few days and grab some of the new gyroids and jump back off. I think they've added a lot of content that has made me excited to play the game again. And I've now been spending a lot of time breaking down my island and starting a bunch of new stuff and a bunch of new projects. Like, we did that stream on Friday, and I think my island is pretty unrecognizable from what it looked like back then.
Oh, crazy.
Because I've just kind of gotten really into, I can do this, I can do this. There's so many more design slots now, so I can find more patterns and do some really interesting things. I've been watching YouTube videos of people and getting design tips from that and trying to incorporate those. Like, I am surprised that I am back into Animal Crossing New Horizons as much as I am.
Yeah, I've been playing it every day since the DLC dropped, and friend of the show, Jedi, we're trying to get a date coordinated to hang out with him and his wife to play the game. And like Chase mentioned, we're going to do a quick look of it this weekend. We'll probably have that quick look up sometime next week, where you can check out some of those things through the eyes of Chase. But it's very good. They did a good job. There's some really great balances here, and we'll cover a lot more of those in that quick look, I'm sure.
Shame it didn't come like 6 months earlier.
I know. Chase, thank you for those updates. Dungeon Encounter, certainly a polarizing game. I think people should maybe not turn away from it quite as quick as they might. There's something there for sure, but more discussion here in a few weeks for Game of the Year. I'm going to be super brief here because I'm going to let Johnny and Patrick take a lot of what I've been what I've been playing. I will say majority of my time has been spent playing Forza, and I absolutely adore that game. It has become easily one of my favorite games this year. We streamed Monday night Inscription. Jedi was there with us in chat, kind of helping Sherpa our way through it. I fucking love Inscription. It's on sale right now. Go play that. It's on Epic and Steam. It's on sale. Inscription rules. Very, very cool game. But I did play a new game this week. And
did you?
Wait.
Did you play a new game or did you play an incredibly old game?
All right. I got to get this crow out of the oven really quick. Give me a second. I've been cooking it for a while. I played Skyrim Anniversary Edition.
How do you feel?
You know what? I have not gone back to Skyrim since it originally came out.
Okay, so you never played any of the re-releases?
I've not played any of the other releases. I played, my cousin had the VR version. I at least checked it out at his house one time to see what that was about, but that was like 15
that's... Did you play the DLC when those came out?
I completed all the DLC at the time of release. Okay, so I have not played Skyrim.
God, those are so good.
Since the game came out. And I have joined in at poking fun at Bethesda. I have joined in at sign and disbelief that they've brought Skyrim forward again. But one of the things I've never done is take advantage of what the modding community has done. And with the Anniversary Edition adding in some really cool shit to this game, primarily fishing, I decided I would fire this game up. I would look for some of the top mods that I could put on it because it's on Game Pass. And I'm not saying this with like any hyperbole, but like some of the way that this modding community has made Skyrim look like it just came out, which is fucking insane to think about. Like the way that they've added in, and I don't want to talk about Skyrim like as the game because you all know what that is at this point in time, but I would say that the way that they've added in some of the forestry to this, the way that they've added in like the density to the maps where they were pretty vacant at some point in times is really fucking crazy. Like being able to walk through the woods of an area that you were pretty familiar with and have it feel incredibly different. And like even some of the stuff with like there's companions that the modding community has created that have like over 7,000 lines of dialogue. And I haven't done any of that yet, but the Anniversary Edition itself has some really cool things with like different armor sets that you don't have to mod out to get. Like there's just different variations of it. There's different materials that you can use to build armor. And it reminded me pretty quickly, those dungeons in Skyrim were fucking good. And there was something to be said about exploring the world.
Aren't they all just circles?
Yeah, but
that was Oblivion.
That was Oblivion.
Skyrim,
Skyrim had like...
You mean lost sectors from Destiny?
Yes.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
So I've been spending my nights this past week. Like I'll race for a little bit, and then I'll fire up Skyrim and just walk around. And I don't know how much of this game I'm going to play. Fishing in it's fine. There's some neat things going on with that. Like that's really what I wanted to check out in it. But overall, Skyrim's been really fucking cool. I've had a good time going back and checking out those mods. And I think that, you know, I salute the work that's being done on that by that team, and there's some really cool shit there for sure. So if you are interested in it, this is on Game Pass. The special edition's on Game Pass for free. You get the Anniversary Edition, you pay like $17 or $18, and it unlocks all that stuff in game.
Skyrim is the only game I've ever purposefully uninstalled because I knew my life was going to be over. Yeah.
I mean, look, like I get that. Like there's people, my cousin has played Skyrim. I don't know how many times. It's insane to think about.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that's wild, and I don't know how I want to approach it. So the game, The Lost City that came out this year.
Yeah.
That actually started off as a mod in Skyrim called The Forgotten City, which is still in the game. You can download that mod and check that out. And so I'm really interested.
I think the game they released is called The Forgotten City.
Sorry. So yes, the Forgotten City game that has gotten,
and it's also on Game Pass.
So on Game Pass, it's gotten very good reception. It started off as a mod in Skyrim that still stands. You can download that and check it out. I don't know how full featured it is, but it's
what they put out this year is separate from my understanding. I've played like an hour of that, and it seems
Chase
pretty cool.
I've never seen you ever use any emoji. You hate emojis. Oh,
I didn't use emoji.
Sorry, that was damn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I've been playing.
I've never used an emoji, and that's not hyperbole. Never mind. Go on. Sorry.
Thanks. Is there any?
I try
not be an asshole with anything that has to do with work.
I tried to put it in the chat. I didn't mention it. I didn't say anything. I wasn't gonna.
Like you fucking have to every time. It doesn't matter what it is.
You're the epitome of an asshole.
I wanna help. It's a hard word. If you've only ever seen it written, I totally get how you'd say it that way. I want to help you.
God.
I
don't need help. If I need help, I'd ask for it. I'm grown.
I think that's hyperbole on your.
I've played Dungeons Encounters as Chase has. I've played Skyrim. I have played a little Halo, which we'll hear more about. I've played a lot of Forza. That's it for me. I'm going to back away and let you two talk. Yeah. What have you two been playing?
I'll take it. So I downloaded Fights in Tight Spaces.
Yeah.
Sorry. You pronounced that wrong.
Oh, did I?
Yes, it's called the Casual Hours Game of the Year 2021 Fights in Tight Spaces.
Sure. Hey, listen, I hope
game hasn't even come out in 2021 yet. We don't know.
Yeah, and so that's coincidentally that's my biggest issue with it. I do enjoy the game. I'm not going to talk too much about it because you all have already talked about it before. I do enjoy the game, but I think it's a little bit overly complicated with its systems. There are a lot of systems going on there, which I think, which for me is a bit much. I get why they're doing it from a design perspective, but for me, it kind of feels like they can just dial it back a little bit. So I was excited to play it. I got into it. I was like, I don't know. And then the overall lack of presentation around it, I know it's still in early access right now. They're still building everything out over time, but I just need a bit more out of it. I am going to keep playing it as it updates, but right now it's going to kind of be on the back burner.
I think you get this a lot with early access games where they continue to add new stuff because now you have a community playing it and they want to it would be cool if this thing was in there, if this thing was in there, what if we did this thing with this mechanic, and then you get the final version just has all this stuff in it, and I think it's really easy for new players to come in and feel overwhelmed. Like when Bobby and I first played Fights in Tight Spaces, there wasn't the drafting part wasn't in there. There were only a handful of
right?
Exactly. It was offensive, defensive, maybe a stylishy one. But now there's a bunch of cards that are all about ground combat. There's a bunch of cards that are about bleeding damage. And I can totally understand coming in and feeling overwhelmed by a lot of that new stuff. Whereas for people like me and Bobby, where we kind of came in where it was a little more basic. Sure, but we had the kind of basic game that I think Patric might have responded a little bit more to, and now we've grown with it as it's built up stuff.
What if
I were to maybe that's something? Go ahead.
No, you finish your thought.
I was just going to say maybe that's something that continues to be built on before that 1.0 release comes out, where we tutorialize things a little bit better.
I think that's the biggest
more
issue.
of those systems get explained.
Because
I know the last time Bobby and I played it, we still have questions about, okay, so the turn order goes like this, and this guy attacks like this, but if he attacks like that, are we actually going to get hit there? If we move this guy, does he now attack?
A lot of math.
There's some stuff because I think the game does a pretty good job. It tries to do that Into the Breach style thing of here's everything that's going to happen on the next turn. So now you interact with things knowing how that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But sometimes the execution of that is still a little up in the air of, okay, if I'm in that guy's line of sight, he's got a gun. So if I put this guy in front of me, is he actually going to still shoot that gun? And sometimes he does, and sometimes he doesn't, and I don't know the reasons why. Yeah, all the variables are still a little tough, but it's still like I think once you play it enough and you start to catch on to some of those things, it's so fucking good.
Patric, I would say I don't know for certain. Okay, this is hearsay. It's a rumor. But maybe you should have your schedule cleared 10:30 p.m. Central on December 6th. Maybe come and play some Fights and Tight Spaces with two people that might be playing it on a, last hurrah before Game of the Year. I don't know. It's a rumor.
Okay.
It's a rumor. I don't even know who these two people might be.
But maybe.
What date? Wow. What date was that? Just so I'm sure.
This is allegedly Monday the 6th at 10:30 p.m.
Allegedly Monday the 6th?
Of December at 10:30 p.m. Central on twitch.tv/casual hour
allegedly to see this game played by
alleged professionals.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Quote
unquote alleged.
Yeah. Quote unquote.
Vis-a-vis.
So that's Fights and Tight Spaces. And then second game I've been playing is, of course, Forza. I haven't played very much of it, but I fell in love with Forza Horizon 4. So I was like, you know what? Forza 5, I'm all in, and let me tell you, this game smacks. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but this game is it's...
Well, I do want to ask you a question.
Sure.
Did I do something to you, man? Like, did I hurt you in any way?
What do you mean?
Why are you always beating me in these games, man? Like, I'm trying to race, and why are you always coming
Bro,
I
be out here, dog.
Why? Like every time, like I'm feeling pretty good about myself. Like, hey, you're doing it, Bobby. You're fucking winning. And then all of a sudden, Patric's like, "Not today, got you."
Yeah,
and
bro.
You get
I go in on Forza. I don't know. I've always been like naturally good at racing games. I don't really understand it. Probably because I watch too many Fast and Furious movies. But honestly, this game, like it's the overall feel of the game, even the energy of the game too. Like the festival and the celebration. I'm not gonna get into like the graphics and everything like that because the graphics are crazy, but like it's really just the overall presentation of this game. It's just a great time. It's just an insanely great time.
You can't have a bad time while you're playing Forza.
Yeah. And then like you get rewarded for doing literally everything. You get points.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So there's constant positive reinforcement.
You drove through that cactus. Good job.
Great job. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just a good time made, and you can tell there's so much passion put into the development of that.
So much love.
Yes, so much. And I love the why am I blanking right now? Accessibility. That's what I love. I love all those options. Someone, I think the announcer called me Brown one day, because like that's my last name. I was like, is this thing saying my name? Like I was like, it really threw
calls
me.
Me Johnny.
Does it really?
Hi, Johnny.
Yeah. That's I want to know how they got that name because I changed my Xbox Live name. It's not P Brown anymore. So, but anyway, that's also kind of cool, kind of creepy. But I'm with it. Whatever. Forza is great. Forza is absolutely.
Do you think that
fantastic.
Forza would be on your Game of the Year list?
It definitely is. Definitely is.
And my other question is: do you think that Chase, for science, purely for science, should see what Forza Horizon 5 looks like on a launch Xbox One?
On a launch Xbox One, yes, for science.
For science,
buddy.
I know I'm gonna love it. Like, if you want to just slap it in, like my fifth best game of the year
for you this year, can you just say, "Hey, listen, Forza Horizon 5 can be on my list. It can't be in my top 5.
Yeah,
you can put it anywhere 5 and below."
See, I don't know what my game of the year list is. I'm still struggling with some of that, but like I feel pretty confident that you could just slap Forza Horizon 5 right on number 5 and say, yeah, sure, that's where it belongs.
You heard it here first,
It's
folks.
probably my
There it
fifth
is.
favorite best game.
That's
I
so
don't know.
Got it.
This year's going to be weird
How
because
many
there's
games
going to be
on
a
your
bunch
list
of
have you
games on my
actually not
list.
played?
Yeah, like is Inscription going to be on my list? I haven't played that. I mean, I just told Bobby what to do. Fights in Tight Spaces, I haven't technically played that. I guess I did over Parsec once. Like, I could see all those games. Hitman's not going to make my top 10, but that'd be another one of, like, I ain't going to play Hitman, but I've seen enough to know that it's cool.
Johnny, this Friday, twitch.tv/cashhour.
That's true.
Professional hitman Johnny Amzich.
It's going to be an interesting time for sure.
My last game, which a lot of controversy around.
How are you feeling
course.
about this, man? This is
Are you just sad the whole time playing this?
Now I feel absolutely terrible. So the game we're talking about is, of course, Activision Blizzard hit Overwatch. Now I feel bad about it, and I'm questioning my decision to further support Activision Blizzard until some real action.
Here's the thing, man. Like, you already paid for it years ago, right?
Yeah.
You're not giving them anything else. You're not buying any.
I don't know, man. How many of those skits? How many of those skins do you need?
But I mean, like, you're not. I don't know. I don't think you should feel bad about playing a game that you already bought and paid for. Like, if it'd be one thing if you're giving them money for skins and shit, but if you're just playing the game with your friends and you all already own it, like. Also, there are good people who work on those games.
Yes, exactly. I know, and that's always been my stance, right?
That's why most developers don't want you to boycott a game, because like there's so many people who are innocent in there who are being affected, and I totally get that. But it's a personal choice for everybody.
Yeah,
of whether you want to keep.
At this point, it just feels.
But I get it.
It feels kind of scummy considering Bobby Kotick, right? Like at first when all the
can't
stories
trust
started,
Bobby.
Tell you what,
can't trust him.
very true. Never hated my name more.
So
I'm gonna start calling you Dale.
When they started breaking all the news, all the lawsuits started coming out, and Bobby and leadership at general leadership, they're like, okay, we're gonna make some changes and blah 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 blah. You know, I was like, all right, you know what? I will give you all the benefit of the doubt. You know, like you all are saying you're doing the work, you're making some institutional changes, sure, whatever. But then this story came out there we're going to talk about later, and turns out that was all just a bunch of lip service and outright lies. So yeah, it just feels scummy supporting that company as a whole, but we will get to that later. Yeah.
Hey, but he was great in Moneyball. So you really got to wait
for that conversation. That's my question.
Yeah, Jesus.
All right. Does that lead to me then? I guess, Patrick.
It does.
Cool.
Take it over.
All right. Well, aside from Forza Horizon 5, which I talked about a little bit,
you got a pretty big hour count on that too.
Yeah, dude, I'm already over 24 hours in that game. It's so good. That's
what we're calling big hour counts these days.
Yeah. Relatively speaking, with the time that it's been released, I think is what Bobby meant.
Totally. I get it.
The other thing that I've been playing, aside from that and some Eastward, I don't know if y'all heard, but the Halo Infinite multiplayer released about a month early. And I know I've never talked about this before, but I'm a pretty big Halo fan. It's, you know...
Do you think they delayed it just to do this big 20th anniversary? Like, hey, surprise, it's done.
No.
You don't think so?
No. It was way more important for them to have a Halo game with their new Xbox than it was to release it on the anniversary of the original Xbox. So, yeah. I've already I looked at the Xbox app earlier. I put it's probably over 13 hours now because I played some earlier before we did the podcast.
Do you have a job still?
I do, yeah.
I don't know. He watched a lot of Mobile Suit Gundam.
I did, but I was working on tickets while I did that.
Of work.
Guys,
allegedly.
Why don't you have a seat right over there, Johnny? Let's talk.
Isn't Camille a girl's name? Look, guys, Halo Infinite fucking rules. It's so good.
Sorry, Halo Infinite multiplayer. The game's not out yet.
Sure.
Right. Yes.
The campaign's not out
Also,
yet.
how do we count this for Game of the Year?
I don't know.
The same way that you count Apex.
I mean, the campaign comes out on the 8th.
But Apex is like a fully featured, like the game Apex is done. It's out there.
Yeah. I don't know, because it is separate.
The rest,
it's a separate
of
download.
The rest of Halo
It's
comes
free
out
to play.
in December.
December 8th. Yeah.
For now.
Yeah. I think they'll hit that date. But the multiplayer, we're not here to talk about the campaign and what may or may not be missing from that, or what may or may not be missing from the multiplayer in Forge. It's so good. I can't tell you how ecstatic I've been playing this the last couple of days. I haven't had this much fun with a PvP in any game since Titanfall 2. Like, it's been almost 6 years since I felt this way about a game, and it's so much fun while you're playing it. It strikes this perfect balance of what I love about Halo and the sensibilities of first-person shooter design, in 2021. And I'm over the moon. Like, this is absolutely one of my favorite things I played this year. And honestly, if I could have come up with a good enough excuse to not do the podcast, to play Halo instead, I would have.
A good enough excuse. If it fucking blows wind the wrong direction, like, I can't do this tonight. I can't be here for this. I'm sorry.
I mean, you know that we don't want you here. You don't even need the excuse.
Okay,
we're trying to get rid of you.
Just log off.
Johnny, I have a couple questions for you.
Oh, go ahead, Chase.
Yes.
I've seen a little bit of this game being played. Are there any classic Halo ass maps in there, or are all these maps new?
Any shoddy snipers?
No shoddy snipers yet.
Well, shoddy snipers is pointless because they ruined the shotgun.
The Bulldog.
I mean, purposefully ruined the shotgun. Purposefully. They meant to. But, like, as a person who plays Destiny, holy shit, is that shotgun awful in Halo.
Have you played it? Have you used it?
No, it takes two shots.
That first
you can be point blank, and the shotgun doesn't get a one-hit kill.
I mean, yeah,
that's what a shotgun does.
That's kind of bullshit.
But I mean, it's purposeful. It's purposeful to make people play ranged, and I get it. It totally makes sense. It's just, as a person who plays a lot of Destiny, or a person who would play like Call of Duty or Battlefield or something,
PvP riddled with shotguns. I can't think of any.
Exactly.
Okay,
I get it.
So,
like, there's a reason you ruined the shotgun.
There is a map. There's a big team battle map that feels very reminiscent. It's very inspired by Blood Gulch,
but it's not.
What?
But it's not. It's not Blood Gulch.
It's not. No, there are no old Halo.
It's not
maps.
Coagulation. It's not
really?
Valhalla.
No. These feel like Halo maps. If that, they're like, yes, like it feels like Halo when I'm playing these. Like, I'm learning, the different routes and things, and it's all. I think there's maybe one that I kind of don't care for, but all the other ones that I played, I'm having a really good time. They seem, pretty well thought out, and they don't have. Like, at this time, if you just want to play Slayer, they don't have a Slayer hopper in there right now. It's all a quick play, which is Capture the Flag, Oddball, and Territories, and Slayer. And then they have Big Team Battle, which is Capture the Flag, Slayer, and then different variations of those. So you'll have, like, multi-flag, you'll have one flag, or Attack and Defend. And another big thing that people are a little upset about is the skull and the flag are no longer one-hit kills with melee. And someone made a post in the Halo subreddit complaining about it, because that's what you do when you're a Halo fan, is complain about the things that they're doing. And
a multiplayer shooter fan.
That's lovely.
Yeah, but one of the people from 343 actually wrote a really long post like explaining like, hey, this is why we decided to do it this way. And I agreed with them. I think I'm having a better time knowing that I have to be more reliant on my teammates, and it makes me more aware of my surroundings. I can't just go hole up somewhere and know like if someone creeps around the corner, I can whack them, and that's it. Like it makes the game feel more dynamic in those modes, and there's more, I don't know, risk reward there. Like it's
yeah.
I'm having a great time.
It's great to know, and my point on the shotgun, like it's really easy to say, oh, they ruined the shotgun. I just did, but it was considered. Like all these decisions, I'm sure they poured over why it feels the way it does, and it makes for a different playing game. That kind of leads into my next question: is how does it feel to play a game like Halo multiplayer in 2021, where you have games like Destiny, like Call of Duty, like Battlefield that are very quick kills. Everything is pretty darn fast. Like a bunch of I pay attention to Destiny. Like everything in Destiny feels like you kill stuff in 1 second if you're doing it, optimally or less. With
that's the dance of Halo, though, right?
Right, like you have that big shield, and then you have a little bit of health left after it. It's
that has always been.
I watched
my.
Sorry, I watched a Destiny YouTuber who I usually watch because Destiny, and they were talking about all the weapons in Halo, and they're trying to do it like Destiny, where it's here's your time to kills for weapons. Here's the number of bullets. How many of those bullets need to be headshots? And I think when I think about Destiny stuff, it's like, oh, this can have a 3 headshot kill. And now they're talking about the assault rifle in Halo, and they're like, yeah, it's like 13 shots before it breaks the shields, and then it's like another 4 after that. And it takes forever. And but that is considered. That's what they're going for. So how does it feel playing a much slower paced game?
That permits for things like reversal. Like how amazing do you feel when you get a reversal? If somebody gets the drop on you and you kill them. Everything about it's so I don't know. Like I feel like they needed this much time to pass between when Bungie handed them the torch after Halo Reach, and they finally figured out what they need to do to put their own stamp on Halo to make it feel like a more modern video game, because I love those games. I go back and play them regularly, but Halo 3 feels fucking slow. Like it feels old to me now, because it came out in 2007, and just the sensibilities and ways that those games have been designed has been much more quicker, much faster paced than what it was back then. And so they, you have a sprint button now. It's not just a skill that you pick like in Reach. The power-ups are back how they were in Halo 3 style, where you pick them up off the map and they're finite. And they're all really,
I need you to answer 2 questions from chat when you get a chance.
Okay. But yeah, I don't know. I could go on and on. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so happy.
I'm happy for you.
I've been worried about this game since it was announced, because Halo 4 and 5 weren't the greatest.
Or bad.
They weren't the greatest. The campaign was bad in 5. The multiplayer was nothing to write home about. But this is it's a return to form. It coming out when Call of Duty sucks shit this year. Battlefield is a hot mess, like it always is. It always comes in super hot, and for them to just drop it on a random Monday, and to have the Steam concurrent count the day it comes out be like over 200,000 people playing it, it's just, I don't know, it just warms my heart, because I have so much love for this series. So yeah, what are the questions from chat I need to answer?
The first one is there any S tier maps like Lockdown?
I can't say that.
Lockout, sorry.
I can't answer that yet. I haven't played them enough times. I need to really, familiarize myself, get to know them
Do you know the names? How about this? Do you know the names of any maps in Halo Infinite?
Or there's Behemoth. There's Bazaar. Yeah, I know a handful of them.
Okay,
Behemoth is cool.
It got a point to me where I'm playing a game like Halo Reach or 4 and 5, where I don't fucking know the names of maps anymore. The names almost don't matter.
Yeah,
but I can think. I still remember Blood Gulch, and I also remember that it became Coagulation, and I remember that it then kind of became Valhalla after that. Battle Creek, Lockout becomes Blackout. Like I remember those names because those maps meant a lot to me, and that is going to be something that you realize over time when you play that. But there is.
I will say I've enjoyed almost all the maps I played on, but I need more time to tell you how they stack up against Halo maps of
the best maps of all time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Johnny,
Halo fans are eating once again. It's great.
It's not a question, but just a comment. Halo has always felt like high-speed chess. You have to figure out your engagements very quickly. Any thoughts there?
Like I mean, you're making split-second decisions. If you're playing oddball and someone's coming at you, you say, okay, do I back off? Do I drop the ball, throw a grenade, try and pop him in the head with the BR? Which I did.
It's
pulled
fast,
off
but you're still considering things. Like when you're playing a game like Call of Duty, though, a lot of it is just complete reaction.
Aim shoot.
Because that game is way faster. It is a lot of just super twitch stuff. Whereas in Halo, you actually get a chance to think.
Yeah.
Halo is a thick boy shooter.
Thank you.
And
no dual wielding, right? They got rid of the dual wielding.
No. And they did bring back a weapon that is almost the Mauler from Halo 3, which is one of my favorite guns.
It's a slug gun now, though, right? Slug shotgun.
Mm-hmm. But it's snub-nosed, and it has a blade on the front, and you pop somebody with that, and you whack them with it, and it's good. It's so good. I just want to go play it right now.
Are you playing this with a mouse and keyboard, or are you playing this with your controller?
I'm playing on controller because Halo was meant to be played on a controller.
Attaboy. No, I'm with you 100%.
I played with mouse and keyboard, and it's it's good, but that's like this is my weapon of choice when I'm playing Halo.
God.
Yes, I love it, boy. Yes.
God. Okay.
It's the only way you could use the flamethrower in Halo PC.
Johnny, we know you are enjoying Halo, and we are happy for Halo, not for you, but
understatement. That I'm enjoying it.
We've got to get through some news here, and we're gonna switch up news a little bit. Patric, you've said, "Hey, I want the news. I want to do the news here on the show.
Get the hell out of the way, Amazich."
Yeah.
So I think that we can.
You got incredibly small shoes to fill, Patrick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We did talk already a little bit about Halo
microphone
coming out early. That was the thing, but I'll let you step in here and do your thing, man.
Yeah, so since we already talked about Halo, let's just go straight to the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy. Now, the Grand Theft yeah, I know.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
We're going to hear more about it for the next episode, but I seem to remember, if I recall correctly, one of us had that as their as one of their picks for the month of November.
I'm sorry.
How's that working out for you, Johnny?
Had the game released at that point? No. It came out so fucking hot and a complete trash fire. I didn't buy this.
And
I bought a Steam code for Vice City. That was separate. It was the version they pulled before they put this bullshit out. Sorry, Patrick. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. So, when this game was announced, there was a lot of chatter about the lack of gameplay being shown about it originally. Because you would think with a series as storied and as celebrated as Grand Theft Auto, that there, especially with it being a remaster, that there would be some,
definitive edition,
some showing off. Yes, thank you.
And a publisher with more money than God at this point, because they've built their fortunes on these games and Red Dead and
Yes, But of course, there was a reason for that. That's because this game is riddled with all kinds of bugs. It was even removed from the store at one point, I believe.
It had files in it for the hot coffee minigame.
Yes.
It had music files in there that were not supposed to be in there. It's just been
they
complete fucking mess.
A ton of the music from the game. And like I haven't been following because I don't give a shit about Grand Theft Auto to the point others do. But some of the stuff that's been coming across my desk is like I saw one where if you're riding first person and you turn the camera to look behind you, it like does this weird GoPro look at your character's face.
That's pretty awesome.
My favorite one is that if you just like wiggle
when you wobble your car, yes,
you're driving in the car and you just kind of keep turning the steering wheel, your car will keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
I mean, a lot of these things are glitches, but
sure.
I think it goes much deeper than glitches too, because you look at the character models and the up-resed versions of a lot of these assets, and they look god awful. Like that is a considered choice. Like somebody decided to make a character look like that, and it's really bad. You would be better served going out and buying a PS2 and a copy of Vice City and playing that than
I have a PS2 in my basement. Maybe I'll do that.
Masters.
Yeah, this was nothing more than a like a holiday time cash grab from Take-Two and Rockstar.
And
it's unfortunate.
They are ports of the iOS Android versions. So it's not even like they're remastering the original game. It's like a copy of a copy.
Here's where I think it's a fucking disservice, right? Like,
talk to me.
People get fucked up on this stuff all the time, but the fact that Rockstar yanked from all digital shelves the versions of these games that you could buy. The other piece of it too is I saw a comparison photo of the original, the remaster, which is out now, and the mod from the modding community. And it was insane, the difference of quality between those. And they had people who have been doing things for these games for decades.
Yeah,
to make them the way that they needed to be. And then they come to this point where they're like, we're going to fucking charge $60 for all these. We're going to remove any version that you once were able to download. Like, and to have this be what you put out. Game development's hard. I'm not going to sit here and act like I got it figured out. I know that the last 2 years have been really hard, especially on this industry. But to put this out at this price tag and have it be pulled to the degree that it has been, to have all these fucking problems in it, you look like fucking idiots. And shame on you for putting this out, and shame on you for pulling away opportunities for people to buy the games that they want to for a way that they want to. It's a fucking joke. They should be embarrassed more so than they have been for pushing Grand Theft Auto 5 the way that they have been. So fuck Rockstar, fuck Red Dead Redemption 2, and fuck these remasters.
No, Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the greatest games of all time.
It's not. It's fucking dumpster fire.
So my question more is like, what happens next? Well, like Bobby said, like this is something that people are pretty angry about, and I'm sure that Rockstar and Take-Two are feeling a lot of pressure from people that this is really fucked up. Now, do they say, fuck it, we're Rockstar, we're making billions of dollars off Grand Theft Auto 5, we don't need to worry about this shit, we can live through this? Or will they actually go, this kind of sucks, like we have this reputation that we make these high quality games, and are we going to let this stand? Are we going to let this be a stain on us? And I have a feeling it's going to be the former, but I really hope that they are able to take a look in the mirror and go,
they will just give you more shark cards for Grand Theft Auto 5.
Always got to have more shark cards. Basically. I did see that this is now the lowest rated Rockstar game of all time, beating out H3O, which was a really bad surfing game.
And
H3O.
And I do want to say the developer behind this, Grove Street Games, they have been responsible for porting all of the Grand Theft Auto games to various mobile platforms like iOS and Android and things like that. So um, it's not like they don't have a history with this franchise. This is what they do. So for it to come out, honestly, I know we don't want to bag, like or rag too hard on like the developers, but for it to come out in this state, especially when you all have a history of doing this for this particular franchise, it is very embarrassing.
And that's why it's a little hard to blame Rockstar in all of this, because they're not the publisher. Like Take-Two's the publisher, so Rockstar technically didn't really have much of anything to do with this.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah,
but it does come back to Rockstar because those are their games, and for them to come out like this is pretty bad.
So we will see what happens with that. But moving on, Chase, something you'll be happy about: Super Robot Wars.
Oh,
sales tops 19 million copies. So that is crazy. Congratulations, Chase, you did it.
90 video games.
Oh yeah, all me. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing to hear on this is like it's not Super Robot Wars 30 selling 19 million copies. It is every single Super Robot Wars game from the last 30 years total together is more than 19 million copies. That's still impressive. It's still impressive. It's still like for what is a relatively niche genre of game, especially here in the West. To hear that those games have sold that much over time. Specifically, I'm very much more interested in hearing how Super Robot Wars 30 does here right now, because I want to know whether this is a experiment that's going to pay off for Bandai Namco and they're going to continue doing that, or if they're going to go, hey, these Americans just don't play these fucking games. Let's go take them right back to Japan. So we'll see.
Yeah, and if you are interested in more Super Robot Wars, our very own Chase Kaneki did a nice, not even nice, it was a fantastic casual hour deep dive into the history of the series. Yes, it was fantastic. It was a great time. Again, Bandai Namco, we already talked about this before, but if you all want to break into the U.S. market like you should, Super Toonami Wars, you holler at us, all right? We can pitch that to you and make that happen. So next story here. Xbox adds 76 back compatibility games. Sorry, I can't talk tonight. Back compatibility games to the Xbox system. Let's see. So this is part
of their larger anniversary. 20 years of Xbox, right?
Yes.
Is that right, Johnny?
Yeah.
Or like they had a stream. It was like a half-hour stream. They talked about Halo multiplayer. That's when that came out. They talked about a couple other things. Usher said "Happy Easter, Xbox" or whatever the fuck he did. And then they showed off. Hey, remember when we weren't gonna make any more backwards compatible games? Yeah, let's make a ton more, and we'll throw all those on there. There's a lot of games that I'm also surprised that showed up here because they're licensed properties. I mean, we're not seeing Tony Hawk games in here, of course. But
Chase,
we are seeing.
I mean, 50 Cent Blood on the Sand?
It's not his name. Like it's Fitty. He's never been 50 Cent, Johnny.
Patric, so I think there's something interesting that came out today on Twitter. That's in this that is a great companion piece to this back compat that they're doing over there at Microsoft. So, so Phil Spencer was in an interview and he said he calls for industry-wide support for emulation for older games to preserve the past. If we said, hey, anybody should be able to buy any game or own any game and continue to play it, that seems like a great North Star for us as an industry. I think Microsoft is looking at the landscape, and I think that there's something to be said about them continuing the push for adding these games into it. I do think that they should bring, and chat's bringing this up right now, like bring these games to the digital storefront. When you're selling hardware that no longer can take a disc in it and you're pushing for that, you need to have a platform. I understand that's a difficult thing to do sometimes, but there needs to be some sort of digital ability to do that. in my opinion.
I agree with that.
Because
100%.
these just degrade. Like over time, there's going to get to a point where you can't get these, or enough of them have gotten scratched over time that they're a rarer commodity. And if you do have the ability to play them, obviously, if they've done the work to put them as back compat stuff, you'd want a version there that you don't need the disc for. I just kind of wanted to ask if you guys went down the list, if you saw anything that stuck out to you as either a game you owned or a game that you never got to play that you think is cool that it's up there now.
I'm very interested in
Viva
playing the Max
Pinata.
Payne games again.
Max Payne, Viva Pinata. What do you got?
The Nextlander guys played some Otogi, Myth of Demons, and I thought that game looked pretty cool. I'd never heard of it before.
I'd only played the first Otogi on a demo disc.
The first Nier is on here.
First Nier, that game came out.
Yeah, it's out
this year.
It did.
Nier Replicant version 3. Blah 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 blah
Sure.
blah blah.
Yeah.
I would play Red Dead Revolver, a better game than Red Dead Redemption 2.
False. That is false information.
We can't keep doing this. I really appreciate that the I would say the only 3 good Dead or Alive games are up here. Dead or Alive Ultimate 3 and 4. Those games I think are really high quality fighting games. I like that Advent Rising is back. Nobody got that $1 million, right? So I guess it's still up for grabs. Anybody can go get it.
Yeah, totally.
Man, now they totally canceled that program before anybody got it. Fuck Advent Rising. What a game.
So I do want to say that this will be the last batch of games that they release for backwards compatibility due to technical and licensing issues. So,
I mean, they said that last time, and
yeah,
but it only took like what 5 years for it to happen. So
yeah. So I mean, we shall see. This could be one of those things where they under promise and over deliver. Of course, because we all know Microsoft, they have the financial resources to do whatever they really want to do. But as far as we know right now, this will be the last backwards compatibility push.
All right.
So, yeah. Moving on to the next story, the Game Awards nominees have been announced. We don't have to talk about. We're not going to talk about all of them here, but I'm just going to mention a few of the nominees here. Deathloop.
A lot of Deathloop in a lot of categories. That was a big one for sure.
Yes, as it should be. Resident Evil Village, which I still haven't played. I need to get on that one. Shout out to my girlfriend, Lady D. Let's see. What else? Oh, Psychonauts 2.
Yeah, that showed up in a lot of categories. I mean, we can just say what their Game of the Year list was. They have 6 games here. It's Deathloop, It Takes Two, which is relatively surprising that would show up in a Game of the Year. Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village.
Yeah.
Where's Forza Horizon? Where's Hitman 3? This list is bullshit.
I would also say this list is bullshit, but for much different reasons.
Deathloop is very good. God, that game is good.
I'm not mad about Deathloop being on there.
Were there anything in here that you guys saw that felt like a snub or
Forza Horizon 5? I just said.
I know.
It is on there though. It is on there, a different category.
I didn't see fights.
The fact that Cyberpunk got nominated for anything is laughable.
Yeah, I mean it is. So the way they do these awards is that it's December of 2020 is open.
Sure.
And the cutoff is always. I think the cutoff for this year is November 19th. For any game that wanted to be eligible. So Cyberpunk technically gets to be eligible because of the timing of these things. But that game was not on sale for a very long time in 2020 and 2021. I know. It's only what categories it is. It's only in like music.
Role-playing game. and best music.
It is in role-playing game. That's probably the saddest one, but it is in music, and music is fine. Like
you
what's
asked if we thought anybody got snubbed.
Yeah, or anything like.
I'm going to try and keep this professional.
Okay.
Fuck the Game Awards for not recognizing and putting some respect on Don fucking Pappas for best mobile game with Clap Hands Golf. Fuck them. Are you kidding me? And then I do want to shout out, because I think it's worth shouting out. We played a lot of it, but it's really heartwarming to see No Man's Sky for best community support, because those dudes have bent over backwards 1,000 times over to get this game to where it's on this list.
I wish I could put that game on my Game of the Year list, because it's been one of my favorite things that I played this year.
Who says you can't?
I don't know.
We can't have it for our awards, but
we
can
make the rules.
Yours.
Yeah.
So I would have liked to see some representation from Monster Hunter Stories 2. Rise, I think, got a couple of nominations.
The better Monster Hunter game to come out this year. That's the correct decision.
Nope.
So
That's
good on them for
false. That's definitely false. I didn't see anything about Eastward. Like Eastward, like the way that game looks and sounds, I'm very surprised that it didn't show up in something like art direction or best music.
Jeff Keighley is a hack.
I apprompt Jeff Keighley. I understand.
First, holy
hell. Dude's got to make some compromises to make this show go.
Yeah,
I get it.
No, he does a good thing. It's cool. I'm sure we'll get lots of interesting reveals and updates on things.
And then Bobby, I think you'd agree. I feel like this list of nominees is sorely lacking in Toem and Unpacking.
Yeah, I think
and Chicory.
Well, I think especially
Chicory got one.
But I think when you look at the category, what do they call it? Games with Impact. Is that what that is?
Games for Impact. Yeah, Chicory's in that.
So Chicory should be there, but I think that absolutely like a game like Unpacking should be there. I think a game like Toem should be there. When you think about what's going on. I look, we could talk a lot about this. What I would say is allegedly there's going to be some high discussion around Game of the Year that takes place the week of, I believe, December 12th, allegedly.
Allegedly.
So there might be multiple streams that week, allegedly, that would be breaking down categories.
Now, Bobby, lists. I do have one question for you. I'm going to go down because I'm going to guess that you didn't look too hard at Content Creator of the Year, correct?
I have not.
Okay, so let me read this list to you, Bobby. The nominees are, for Content Creator of the Year, Dream, Fusely, I might be saying that wrong, Gallus, Ebi, Squib, and the Gref.
I voted for Dream because I know that Jude talks about him.
Now, Bobby.
That's all.
I made up one of those names. Which name did I make up?
It was the fourth one.
Wait, Gallus?
No.
Ebi. Ebi is the fourth one I said.
No, Ebi's real.
Ebi's World? I went to that website back in the time. Yeah, I made up Squib. But,
Squib
it makes sense. You could totally see that being a name in here. Well, all these names are fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, they're no casual hours.
The only thing more ridiculous are any of the names for any of the esports bullshit.
Yep.
Good God. Like these fucking names, man.
Emactive Volcano.
The fact that two of the I don't watch a lot of esports. Go figure. But the fact that two of the nominees in Best Esports Athlete, one of them is Simple and one of them is Simp. The idea that we can't even have, God damn it,
a super intense Minecraft player.
That's right. Don't forget it.
I hate this.
You know what's wild? Not to get too congratulatory here. What's weird about this is I remember about this time last year, I sent you two a text message like, what if we streamed? What if we did a live version of our show?
Yeah, and I've regretted it ever since.
You both were like, fuck you, we're never doing that.
Yeah.
And look at us now. A year later, almost streaming this bullshit.
Full of regret.
Making it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Catch out of the bag. That week that we did mention, we've got 3 Game of the Year shows playing that week. So more to come.
Next story here. Monster Hunter Rise is getting.
We can skip that one.
It's getting. Well, it's on here. So if you are into Monster Hunter Rise, it's a very popular game. Yeah, you are getting a Sonic the Hedgehog collaboration where I listen. Sega has to get Sonic in as many places as they can. Isn't the sequel to the movie coming out next year?
Yeah, with Idris Elba as Knuckles. It's going to be great.
And Chris Pratt as somebody.
As Tails.
Yeah,
Is he really? Is he really in the
No.
movie? No, he's not in the movie. Okay.
Not yet.
I wasn't sure.
He's big as the
You can't have Chris Pratt be in the Mario movie and the Sonic movie. There's a console war going on.
Yeah, sure.
From 30 years ago.
But he can be Garfield.
The best thing about this trailer, I mean, the trailer is the best thing about this. I doubt the content's going to be very good at all. But they have City Escape as the background music of this trailer for the Sonic stuff. And I'm not saying Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 are very good games, but City Escape is a banger of a track. So
yep.
And
Sonic Adventure, the original, that's a fantastic game.
And I'm not saying.
I mean, I play the shit out of 2.
Allegedly,
it's a bad game, but I love it.
If you wanted to see this in action.
Oh no. I ain't being part of that.
Look, I'm just gonna say this, all right? Like there's no allegedly about it. That DLC drops on the 26th of November. Johnny, do you know what Friday we had picked to stream Monster Hunter Rise?
Okay, here's the thing though. Since I was gonna buy this on PC, I probably wasn't gonna pay for that DLC.
Oh, is it paid?
Oh, is it? Okay. Is it a free update?
I think it's just free. I think it's an in-game
okay, then
event.
yeah, let's go.
No longer allegedly, but November 26th, come and watch us get our Sonic gear as we play Monster Hunter Rise on Friday stream.
So just to iterate here, it's a Sonic Palico. It's a Sonic
it's a Tails Palico.
Themed Palico. No, that's a Palamute.
Palamute, sorry.
Tails is your dog. Sonic's the cat. I didn't even fucking play this game, and I know more than Bobby. And then it looks like some armor, some costuming stuff that you can get
Allegedly
that is like Sega Sonic adjacent. Cool. But yeah, you can actually get like a little Sonic as your Palico, and you can get a two-tailed fox themed Palamute. I don't know.
Hey, before you hop into this next story, Patrick, because this is a doozy of one. I don't want to spend a lot of time. Give me 2 minutes just to address something that I read about today before the show. It came to my attention, and as I've mentioned earlier, I am the sole responsibility for the Casual Hour on getting us onto streaming. I didn't know hardly anything.
All your fault.
I didn't know hardly anything about streaming prior to us doing this. And I did some research and I tried to figure out what would work best from like my knowledge of like systems and how to make it work. And I signed us up and we are using Streamlabs. I did not know until today that OBS and Streamlabs were not some way affiliated based off of Slobs being the shorthand name for this and Streamlabs OBS being the name for it. I don't have all the insight as much as other people do, but I do know a little bit that there's been some pretty shady practices done by Streamlabs OBS in how they have gone about conducting their business and how they have fucked over open source with their platform. And allegedly, like, not allegedly, I'm sorry, I keep saying that, but they have full on fucking ripped off OBS and then another company that uses more cloud saving. It's a really cool concept, but really fucked up stuff, and to the point where I may be considering switching us over to OBS versus Streamlabs. And Streamlabs today did drop OBS from their name because of all the confusion. Everybody fucking thought, well, I thought this was like an affiliation or a different version of it. So I'm gonna do a little bit more research. I'm gonna try and figure out how to migrate some stuff over. I think, but just
as long as the emotes come over, I don't care.
Yeah,
I think that you should resign as the CEO of the Casual Hour.
Yeah.
If you harm even one of my precious emotes, except for Shining Finger, as much as I love Gundam, I do not like G Gundam. You can get rid of Shining Finger. The rest of them have to stay.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, yeah, I'll talk more about. But I am going to research some stuff on moving some things over, and it just didn't sit well with me, and I felt pretty dirty and shitty about the practices they were doing. So. If I don't know if it's like well known that we use that, but one thing that we do have from them that I'll have to look at is Better Johnny is an affiliate of Streamlabs. So I need to figure some stuff out and maybe just move us over to OBS. So more to come on that.
You should be able to move everything over to Stream Elements. That's what I use when I stream. Stream Elements uses OBS as its main platform. But then Stream Elements is like this cloud-based streaming service. Highly recommend it. But yes, thank you for that.
Yeah, sorry about that. Just want to be transparent with everybody.
Well, speaking of shitty business practices that make you feel awful, Patric.
Yeah, so so we're not going to get too deep into the weeds here. I'm just going to talk about some things that stood out to me, but. Basically, the CEO of Activision Blizzard, Bobby Kotick, had a story published about him by the Wall Street Journal, which is an incredible report if you all have not read it. But it detailed that he basically knew about and perpetrated and covered up various reports of sexual misconduct at Activision Blizzard. Again, we're not going to get all the way into it. We're just going to talk about the ramifications of the things that happened after the report was published. So one major thing was that one Dan Bunting, he is the co-head of Treyarch Studio, which makes they are primarily responsible for Call of Duty Black Ops, I believe. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. So he was named in the report as someone who was accused of sexual misconduct at Activision Blizzard that Bobby Kotick covered up. But
like the internal HR team is like, we should fire this guy, and Bobby was like,
no,
we didn't.
So what happened was that once this report was being written, the Wall Street Journal doing their due diligence, they're going to question Mr. Bunting, and he subsequently left the company and did not give any comments about the story at all. After the report was published, the board members put out a letter, a public statement saying that they intend to keep Bobby Kotick on as the CEO of Blizzard because they have, or of Activision Blizzard because they have faith in him as a leader, and they believe that he will continue to make necessary changes to make Activision Blizzard an inclusive and safe working environment. That did not sit well with the employees, so they immediately staged a walkout demanding Bobby Kotick's resignation. As of today, various shareholders asked for Bobby Kotick and two members of the board of directors of Activision Blizzard, Brian Kelly and Robert Morgado, to step down immediately. So, like I said, if you have not read this Wall Street Journal report, I highly recommend it. It is fantastic work by everyone involved. This goes back to things that happened, I believe, as early as 2004 regarding Bobby Kotick and his reign as the CEO of Activision Blizzard. So, yeah, highly recommend it. But yeah, this story is pretty damning, and it's going to be very interesting to see what goes on.
How many weeks do we have? I feel like every week that we've done something that could have the news in it, there's been it's not like it's like every week there's something new that's coming with this. It's fucking insane.
And especially like in an era of like Trump, in a post-Trump world where it felt like every day there was another thing that the news was talking about. I feel like we're getting that again with something like Blizzard. I don't even have time to be outraged about the last thing that happened because there's already a new thing
Yep.
that happened, a new development that is equally or even more shitty than the last, and it's just it's exhausting, and it makes it really easy for people to say, we don't want to talk about it anymore. We're done talking about it because we've talked about it so many times, and I've definitely felt that too. But you can't do that. You have to know that you can't do that. We have to keep calling this stuff out, or it doesn't get fixed. If this is allowed to just be swept under the rug, then this stuff's just going to keep happening. So I'm glad this stuff is out there. I'm glad Activision employees are walking out and asking for change, demanding change, and it sucks that we have to talk about this. That on our fun little video game podcast, we have to talk about work closures and sexual harassment and those kinds of things. But those are things that keep happening that shouldn't be happening. And we're gonna keep reporting on that stuff.
So my question, Patric, obviously, like, you shared some thoughts earlier about like where you're at with it based off of your enjoyment of Overwatch, but like, they don't bounce back, right? Like, I'm sure that the wheel will keep turning. I don't mean that they're not going to shut down, but
oh yeah, most definitely.
I don't see a time period in the future where like this is just not talked about. Like, I don't know if Blizzard can get out from this shadow.
It seems like they're trying to ride this out and just wait for people's attention to move on to the next distraction. I don't know. Like, it's going to take outside sources threatening their bottom line. Like, they don't give a shit about the people who work there, clearly, and how they feel. But if, like, Sony's Jim Ryan made a statement, he didn't call for Bobby Kotick's resignation or anything, but he was like, hey, what's going on here, guys? And they have a partnership with them for Call of Duty, where Call of Duty gets all the DLC early. So it's, I don't know. I don't think anything will change. Like, they've dug in their heels. They put out that letter yesterday. They're standing by their man. So unless there's like an outright strike company-wide, and even then, like, I don't know. Like, there's, it's going to take...
It's super cliche to say, but like, it all comes down to money. And what's going to cost Activision more money? Is it firing Bobby Kotick and trying to find a replacement for that who may or may not make as much money as he did for them? Or is it a handful of employees walking out and having to fire and replace those employees? And the answer, it's going to be they're going to keep Bobby because he's the one who makes them all the money.
Yep.
And until something like that changes, until Sony comes out and says, okay, we are stopping our partnership with Activision because of this, and not just saying, hey, maybe you guys shouldn't do that. I don't see I totally understand where the board says totally we're going to keep him because it's just in their best money interest. Morally, it sucks, but these people don't care about morals for when they're getting into a company like Activision. They're there for the bottom line, and Bobby Kotick does a lot for the bottom line, and so we need to find other ways of putting pressure.
And nothing will happen to him. Like, he'll just be a rich guy that doesn't have a job anymore. So
maybe he'll go to space. I hear a lot of rich guys are doing
don't
that
come back.
Days. Yeah.
No, I personally think Bobby is cooked at this point because once the shareholders are asking, the shareholders are asking for him to step down. They're also asking for members from the board of directors to step down, which is that's very, very, very rare that happens when you ask for the CEO and the board and two members of the board to step down. So I think at this point, Bobby's cooked, Brian Kelly's cooked, Robert Morgado, the two people from the board. Yeah,
I don't know. What do you think? Like, cooked. A week? Like, if they're gonna be fired or whatever, it happens within a week, or it doesn't happen. is how I feel.
Yeah, I think it will take longer for the board members to be removed, but Kotick, yeah, he's out. He's out pretty soon. Personally, I
hope you're right,
Chelsea.
but I have no faith.
Yeah,
That's
and to answer your question, Bobby, I think eventually with time, both Blizzard and Activision will both bounce back from this. I think Call of Duty, WoW, and Overwatch. Those are two big, or three. I'm sorry, three big franchises with a huge player base and people who still do believe in Blizzard and they want to see Blizzard do well because they have these emotional attachments to those franchises.
Yep.
So,
they also got that Diablo.
Yes, Diablo. Yeah, I mean Blizzard.
You need more.
Right? Blizzard. Pillars. Period. Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so yes, I think it will take time, but considering Blizzard is one of the most prestigious studios in all of gaming, I think eventually they will bounce back. Personally, I hope they do, as someone who enjoys their games quite a lot. So,
yeah, there's good people that work at Blizzard, 100%. Awesome. Well, look, Patrick, I appreciate you taking us through the news tonight. I think that's all of our stories, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Dope. Let's wrap up our show here and get everybody, warm, safe, at home here in St. Louis, where the temperature is dropping. And speaking of things dropping, we've had a lot drop this week here at the Casual Hour. Starting on Monday night, Chase and I played. We are shifting Mondays and Fridays, moving forward until Game of the Year, to be celebratory recaps, and almost just like hey, are you still feeling pretty good about this? It's like you were pretty hot on this earlier in the year. Check-ins on some of the games that meant a lot to us early in the year, and are they holding up as we start to put together our list for Game of the Year? So this past Monday, Casual Mondays went to Inscription, a game that came late in the year that I wanted to spend some more time with. And I will say I felt like things lined up beautifully that night. The company we had and the cards we got, the boons we got, it was such a great time. And can't say enough good things about that game, Inscription. Check it out, on sale now. We put up a quick look Tuesday, I'm sorry, for Dungeons Encounters, a game that we spoke at length about tonight. Pretty polarizing here at the Casual Hour. Go check out our quick look. YouTube.com/The Casual Hour to find out what's going on there. Yes, we did have one of the most OP decks. It was wild. Really fun quick look. Archive should be on Twitch here, and I believe I got everything exported over to YouTube, but more to come there. We told you a lot about the games we're playing. We covered some good and bad news tonight. Tomorrow, a very tiny game with a lot of cool things going for it. Raven's Hike. We've covered another game from that studio here on the show called Red Ronin. But we'll have a quick look up on our YouTube channel for Raven's Hike. If you're listening to the podcast, just go to YouTube and find it there. And Friday night, as we teased earlier, Johnny is going to be taking me on a journey of sleuthing around. Murder.
World of Assassination.
Yep. And we're going to go back to a game that Johnny has spoke very highly of, which is Hitman 3. And I will be in the passenger seat Friday night cheering on Johnny as he finds ways to crush innocent bystanders in a wine press in Hitman 3. So a lot of really cool things there. But if you want to follow along with what we got going on, there's a few ways to do it. You can follow twitch.tv/casual hour, thecasualhour.com, youtube.com/casual hour. Look for us on Twitter. Look for us on Instagram, especially. A lot of cool things happen on Instagram right now. But as we mentioned, a lot of us are playing Forza currently. A lot of us are playing Halo currently. So if you are into that, a lot of us are also playing Animal Crossing. There's ways to hang out with us outside of the show. So tweet at us, chat with us, let us know what you're playing. We want to have you hang out with us. And you can do so by following all those links there on that channel. I'm going to pass it over to Chase, and then we'll hit up Patrick and then in with Johnny. Chase, what is going on with those robots at war?
Oh, no, I'm finished.
Boom.
Game done.
Done.
Yeah. that series is over. Happy it's done. Had a great time, but also glad to not be playing it anymore. Still scheduling and figuring out some stuff for the next thing I'm going to be doing for the channel. I've got some ideas, just kind of dotting some I's, crossing some T's, and I'll let you know when that next series starts.
Can you at least, is it soon, you think?
Probably within the next couple weeks, maybe.
Okay. Awesome. And then Gamers on the Go, are you doing anything for Game of the Year there this year? Anything?
Maybe.
Share at this time?
I think if I do a show, it's going to be in January. I think we've got enough of our own Game of the Year stuff for Casual Hour that's happening that I'd probably just avoid this and then come back in the new year and take a look back. We'll see.
Nice.
It's possible. But definitely, I mean, there will be more episodes of Gamers on the Go in 2022. But for now, we'll wait for see what Game of the Year happens.
Awesome. And then your friend and ours, P. Brown the Aeon, what do you got going on? You've got some big things going on.
Oh man, do I have some big things going on? Friday, a little ditty is dropping from your boy.
Heyo.
Is this a song, an album, EP? What do you got going?
No, it's just a song. It's just a song. I've decided to not put out any more full-length projects, just songs from here on out. So you all will be hearing a lot more stuff from me frequently. But Friday, it all starts. If you want to be ready for it, please feel free to follow me, P Brown the Aeon, on all. Well, P Brown _ Aeon on all my socials. Come find me. It is time. Things are going to start happening. I want to give a special shout out to Bobby for being awesome and working with me on the art for everything. You are amazing. Thank you very much.
It's an honor.
But things are happening, my friends. Things are happening.
Yeah, we were in it today, man. You and I had a good back and forth working on some art, and it was a lot of fun to like try and figure out like, okay, what's he gonna think about this? What's he gonna look at on this? And like, look, it's cool to see like where it started and where it's at, and like knowing that journey. Like that's something that like only lives with you and me. Like that's a little thing that you and I created, and that's really fucking neat. To know like this thing had a life before you all get to see it, and how it came to be. That was really fun.
A lot of crazy ideas got thrown around, and we matched, and we just met halfway on something that really worked.
Yeah, it's cool.
I cannot wait to show it off. Yeah, it's gonna be great. So yeah, Friday, stay tuned.
Awesome. And then we got the links here in chat. We will make sure to include links in the show notes. So if you're listening to this, go back and check those out and follow along with P Brown there. Johnny, you don't have a handheld podcast. You're not rapping or anything like that I'm aware of. But you are the only dad on this show.
True.
What do you
true fact.
How's that going? What's new? How's fatherhood?
Fatherhood is an ever evolving hellscape. That's also the most rewarding experience of my life. And I let Jude play Halo with me last night because I knew that he'd really like that. So me, him, and my cousin Jared linked up, played a little bit of that. We played some Pokemon last week, the trading card game.
I'm sure Jude was very, very calm and didn't say anything, controversial at all when he was losing or winning.
He's a really quiet kid, very subdued.
Subdued, that's his name.
Oh my god, he's so intense.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the discussion for another time. But yeah, he's doing all right. He's a good kid. He's just loud. He's the loudest person I've ever met in my life.
Saying something.
Well, hey, thank you.
It is.
Thank you all of you for hanging out tonight. If you can stick around for other things this week, find good reasons to hang out with us. Lots there. And look for those alleged dates that we mentioned earlier. And don't be creeps. So that's it for us here at the Casual Hour.
Don't be creeps.
We'll see you all Friday night back here with some Hitman 3. Take care.
Bye.